Hello, fellow design enthusiasts. My name is Sarah Hickey, and this is a conceptual design for downtown Phoenix. I am a recent ASU graduate, having graduated from Herberger Institute for the Design and Arts. I graduated with an architectural studies degree, along with minors in urban planning and sustainability. This is originally started as a project for my PUP 420 class, which is urban design. I implemented what I had learned from urban design class into this project. We were thinking about how to adaptively reuse or revitalize a specific place. And so here we have the conceptual design for Jefferson Parking Lot. Now, before I begin, allow me to give a brief overview of how this presentation is structured. Part 1 is the overview. This will include the slides of the introduction, the existing context, as well as highlighted existing context areas, and the conceptual site plan. Part 2 is the theory and research applied. This is where I will talk about design strategies employed, contextual considerations, and the promotion of social activity, as well as concluding thoughts on this presentation. Now to introduce the site. Our area of focus is called Jefferson Lot, located in downtown Phoenix. The approximate address is about 42 East Madison Street. The area of the first parcel, which is the larger parking lot to the north, is approximately 31,000 square feet. The area of the smaller parcel, abutting the large one to the south, is roughly 15,000 square feet. The zoning for this area is Downtown Business Core zoning. As stated in Section 1209 of the City of Phoenix Zoning Ordinance, the business core should function as a strong regional center for employment, entertainment, conventions, tourism, and cultural institutions. So this is important to note, as our design must be tailored to the existing context. Context is always key. And more on the existing context. The downtown Phoenix area draws many tourists and locals alike to its attractions. Examples include Phoenix Convention Center, Chase Field, Civic Space Park, the Herberger Theater, the Arizona Science Center, and many more. The light rail starts around our site and loops through downtown Phoenix, pulling people through our site and to the west. The nearest bus stations are located on Lincoln Street and Central Avenue, and on Jefferson Street and Fifth Avenue. Both are roughly half a mile away, or about a 9-minute walk away from our site. And here, as seen in Figure 1, we have a downtown Phoenix walking map. In this area, in the orange, this is our site in the context of the larger downtown Phoenix area, and showing the different types of transit. And now to talk about some highlights of the existing context. I felt that it was important to talk about Talking Stick Resort Arena, as this is right next to the site. It's very important because it will attract many pedestrians and visitors into our site and through our site. It has attracted an estimated 40 million people since its initiation in the early 90s. The arena is not only a sports facility, most famously known for the Phoenix Suns basketball. This space also hosts an average of 300 events a year, including nonprofit drives, concerts, conventions, and other recreational facilities. Along South First Street and East Jefferson Street, we find some of the heaviest traffic flows, as seen in Figure 1, even on non-event weekends. This will play a very important role in tailoring the proposed design to accommodate these needs. Another important building to note on our site, on the larger parking lot, is the Jefferson Hotel. It is situated at the cross streets of South Central Avenue and East Jefferson Street. It was most famously seen in the film Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. The new name for this place was called the Barrister Building. In 2016, the City of Phoenix sold this building to a private developer who had plans to convert it to a shopping center and condominium mixed-use building, then renaming it to Jefferson Place. However, the purchase fell through, but this historic relic remains intact from its construction in 1915. Another very important building to note on the smaller site to the south is the St. James Hotel. It exists along East Madison Street. It was constructed in 1929 and operated for many decades until it was closed. It was originally planned to be demolished along with the Madison Hotel in 2012, as seen in Figure 1, by the Phoenix Suns, who sought to create more room for visitor parking. And this is expected, as 40 million people have been visiting this site since 1990. The Madison Hotel, right next to the St. James Hotel, was sadly demolished to create room for more parking. The St. James Hotel, however, was preserved and to this day remains unused and locked up, according to my research. And now, implementing the research that I have garnered from the existing context, I have developed a conceptual site plan. Here we see the Jefferson Hotel and the St. James Hotel, as seen in their original form and original placement. This first larger parcel and the smaller parcel notably do not have parking lots on the surface. I have moved the parking underground. These are the two carports on either side. There are 4 carports in total. There are paths, landmarks, food trucks, and recreational and sporting facilities. The building function will be discussed in later slides. And now, to provide some further explanation for the site plan. The St. James Hotel, as located on the smaller parcel, I suggest that there are no major changes done to the exterior, only minor modifications. The Jefferson Hotel is very similar, no major changes to the exterior on the south or west side. I think it is very important to preserve the historic importance of these buildings. These buildings are very important to the character of Phoenix and how Phoenix formed, especially downtown Phoenix. The west side of Jefferson Hotel, I propose be opened up and supported via columns. This is a long facade, and I think it will improve circulation. The north side will have windows widened and awnings, as it can get very hot on this side. The setback minimum is none, as stated in Section 1206 of the Phoenix Zoning Ordinance. Proposed driveway locations double mainly as pedestrian paths and space for food trucks, as seen here. These paths, as located on the main parcel, are not intended for pedestrian parking. The pedestrian parking has been moved underground. There are 2 carports on each parcel running from east to west. The parking has been moved underground as to not disturb the street life and to promote walkability and to have people interact with downtown Phoenix in a more intimate way. And here's the part where I refer you to the conceptual site plan video. This is a walkthrough of the larger parcel and the smaller parcel, as seen in this rendering, and the YouTube link can be found here. And now, moving on to part 2, where I discuss the research and the theory applied to this design. The design strategies employed. We read a book in our class, Urban Planning Design, called The Image of a City by Kevin Lynch. In this, he talks about how to create a distinct identity for the city and to make it memorable by tourists and locals alike. Using a few of his terms, I implemented landmark at the local, the center largest parcel here. Path, sequentiality, and repetition were created using the palm trees lining the 8-foot sidewalks, as seen in these areas. Path, the walkways towards the park are oriented towards an end goal, whether it be Talking Stick Resort Arena to the east, the Marriott Hotel over here to the west, or the recreational facilities in St. James Hotel to the south. Edge was also created using the palm tree line. And also other terms which he talks about in his book and helps people remember this place better and to have a distinct identity was clarity of joint through the palm tree lined edges, simplicity of form by maintaining the existing two buildings' character. There's directional differentiation through orientation of landmarks, paths, and buildings, and many more strategies have been implemented in this design. And now to talk about the contextual considerations. This is a little bit different than the contextual that I talked about at the beginning, as this is now talking about the idea of the program and the function behind the building. How will these buildings now operate on our site? The first and most dominant design strategy I employ for the St. James Hotel and Jefferson Hotel is called urban revitalization. I'm essentially maintaining the character of these buildings, only adaptively reusing these areas. So you may ask, what's the new function of these buildings? The St. James Hotel will maintain its character, building, and form. However, I propose that this building would function as a new arcade and a front lobby for renting out the various sporting facilities, as seen in the earlier slide of the site plan. Jefferson Hotel will maintain its character, height, and form. I'm proposing that this building become a mixed-use project. On the first and second floors of the building, there will exist an exhibition center. The third and fourth floors will act as office spaces for the exhibition space, and the fifth and sixth floors will act as residential spaces. And now onto another very important urban planning concept, the promotion of social activity in the space. As seen in the film The Social Life of Small Urban Places, people were most attracted to people doing things, which provides ample opportunity for true social activity. There are many opportunities for people to watch people inside the exhibition center and for street performers to set up and play. The function of the space is recreational and functional. Therefore, the social factor of this place has great potential. To increase the likelihood of triangulation, I have incorporated food trucks into the design, as well as landmark, as seen in Figure 1 and Figure 4 here. Triangulation, essentially, is where a performer sets up to play, or there's people doing a certain activity. And then it starts to attract people to watch. It starts to attract a small crowd or a large crowd. These people in the crowd start to interact with one another and start to have their own conversations and start to meet each other. This is the concept of triangulation. Everybody is engaging in a social activity. The spectators with each other and with the street performer, and the street performers with the spectators. Another promotion of social activity is through the recreation center, as there are 2 tennis courts, a basketball court, and a skate park. As a designer, I began thinking about how to promote social activity at night. Some concerns I sought to address for the community were safety and visibility. Recreational sporting facilities and mixed-use residential buildings are known to foster neighborhood watch programs. I also installed pedestrian lighting along the non-visible corners so that visibility was increased at night. This was employed to enhance the social activity at night. And now, for some concluding thoughts. The proposed site plan of this area moves the above-ground parking lot that's already existing underneath both parcels of the buildings, so that the buildings on the site and potentially buildings nearby, such as Talking Stick Resort, will have room for parking. The downtown business core zoning is oriented towards pedestrian-friendly streets and a mix of commercial and residential activity. Therefore, this proposed plan adheres to Phoenix's code ordinance. The original buildings will be preserved but programmed for different uses than their original intent. So the St. James Hotel will be converted into an arcade, and the Jefferson Hotel will become a mixed commercial and residential building, specifically an exhibition center. There's plenty of opportunity for social activities such as the food trucks, landmarks for people to interact with, and the windows reopened along the side of Jefferson Hotel for people to watch other people. The parking space, recreational facilities, and buildings are for the local community surrounding the site. The community will be handed the design and will decide the usage and other various factors. And so here are a few of the references that have been cited. And so this concludes the presentation. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this design proposal for downtown Phoenix, specifically Jefferson Lot.